All right, welcome back to Green Bay Football Corporation, where today we're going to do my first mock draft of the year. Tonight marks 7 weeks until the NFL draft. This offseason is just flying by so far. And now with the combine in our rear view, we're able to understand a little bit more about the prospects that the Packers might actually be targeting in this draft. So we're going to do 3 rounds today. And here are a few things I kind of wanted to focus on. So the free agent market at safety is robust, and I think the Packers are going to be players in that role. So I'm assuming we signed at least one safety, probably just one, but I'm thinking it's either going to be like a McKinney, Jordan Fuller, Blackman, and they're probably going to bring back a guy like Jonathan Ford or Rudy Ford, rather. So I think we're going to be all right at safety. So it's not like an urgent need that we got to really press for. I'm also assuming that Bakhtiari is going to be back, as well as John Runyon Jr. We do still lose Josh Nyman in this as a free agent. So definitely some potential need to address a depth piece at tackle there. But the need and the urgency isn't really there either. So I'm also looking at, we don't really need to focus too heavily on what happens with Devondre Campbell right now because Devondre Campbell can be post June 1 later, and that money can be used for Jordan Love's extension. So it's not urgent to do it now. And we can kind of see if we end up getting our guy in the draft before we make a decision on if we want to keep him or give him, let him walk. So uh, we have 5 picks in the top 100. I'm going to be looking at offensive line, not as like the number one need, but if it's there in the first round and we get top notch guy that's going to step in and at least compete for a starting role right away, that's something to look at. Otherwise, I'm still looking cornerback, a safety, and linebacker as the big needs. And then I'm also going to try to see if I can't nab a decent edge and a running back in this range as well, especially end of round 2, early round 3 for running back in particular. So, without further ado, let's hop over to the PFF draft simulator here and go ahead and get started. So, I'm not going to move around a whole lot in this draft. So, we're just going to kind of sit and pick and see what happens. Oh, Tyler Newbin at 24. That is early. All right, let's see. Nothing too surprising in the top handful here. Malik Neighbors before Harrison, though. Interesting. Mock PFF still hasn't quite ironed out all the details. It did sound like from the NFL Stock Exchange podcast that they're planning on rolling out an update on their mock draft simulator because they are, you know, working on some algorithms to figure this stuff out. Because like Cooper DeJean at 7 probably is not happening. Um, they're going to just weight some things a little bit differently because I think Jaden Daniels is like 20 something on their big board, but obviously he's probably going to go a little bit earlier. But let's take a look at what we have available here at 25. I'm a big fan of Jackson Powers Johnson. Big dude. He would be an upgrade immediately over Josh Myers at center, I think. Absolute stud. Uh, but let's see who else we've got. Let's look at tackles. So J.C. Latham, Tyler Guyton, uh, probably too big, but super athletic. I actually really like Kingsley Suamatea, but that's a second round kind of guy. Let's look at corner. Kool-Aid McKinstry, TJ Tampa. Ennis Rakestraw dropped a bit after his combine performance, so I'm not surprised there. I think this is probably let's look at edge real fast, just because Chop Robinson's still there. That's tempting, and that would be something wouldn't be surprised if Goody ended up going for. But I'm going to just go with Jackson Powers Johnson because I think that's a no-brainer upgrade at a not necessarily a position of need, but someplace that we can actually like drastically improve. Peyton Wilson went shortly after that. Coming up soon here. Ooh, TJ Tampa would have been nice, but here we are finding ourselves. Chop Robinson ended up falling, so this is probably going to be relatively easy pick. Though I like Darius Robinson too, and he might actually be somebody that would be available. But let's take a look. Johan Bullard and it's Rakestraw. Now let's just see if our guys are here. No, not Keon Coleman, but no, we don't need receiver here. Let's look at tackle 2. Still there. I'm gonna go Chop Robinson. Just go for it. Just call that in right away if he's still there. Oh, Mateo went. Rakestraw went. Keon Coleman right before we pick. Another guy I really like, Chris Jenkins, obviously has the pedigree. That would probably be a pretty easy pick for me too. But let's look at linebacker. Edge Cooper is still there, and he's definitely not going to make it past this point. So I'm going to go with Edgerrin Cooper. Definitely just more of a position of need. Chris Jenkins went right after that pick. So did Junior Colson not too long after. Marshawn Nealon went, though, and that would have been my pick for edge for the Packers for sure. And we're starting to see some running backs go off the board there. And back at 88, Cam Kinchens still on the board. I mean, I do think he plays faster than his testing implies, but he did not do himself any favors at the combine for that. So let's take a look. I want to look at the linebacker corner. Ooh, Max Melton, my man. All right, safety, we see who's there still. Cam Kinchens, Cam Bullock, Dadrian Taylor Demerson. Tested a lot better than Kinchens, and I think will actually probably go before him now. Running back, Blake Corum. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Blake Corum's my guy here. I do think 3 picks later, it's not a big stretch on who we're gonna have available here, and I'm gonna go back to the safety well, and I'm gonna take Dadrian Taylor Demerson now. And that'll end up concluding the 3-round mock draft. So let's see, who do we actually have here? So overall, a B from PFF, not bad. Jackson Powers Johnson, definite upgrade at center. Chop Robinson would definitely, he's a little bit different type of edge rusher than we currently have on the roster. So I think that would be, a big win for the Packers. Edge Cooper, one of the top linebackers, probably the top linebacker that doesn't have a big medical question mark, because Peyton Wilson is like tested through the roof, a little bit different style of linebacker, but Cooper wasn't terribly far behind him on his speed, and he's a little bit bigger body and holds up a little bit better. Blake Corum would be great in this offense, and then Dadrian Taylor Demerson would definitely pair nicely with a free agent addition at the back end, and he wouldn't have to play right away because Rudy Ford was probably our best safety the last couple of years. So if we brought him back and then added a guy, he could, be the safety of the future in waiting and get out there, maybe play on some of the, the sub package defensive looks. And let me know what you think in the comments below. And that was our first midweek mock draft. And I'm going to do one of these every week on Thursdays as we roll forward towards the first round of the NFL draft. 7 weeks away now. So check it out.